Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to another session of our PYQ series. So, in the last class, we dealt with the logical reasoning questions from 2025 CSAT paper, 2024 CSAT paper. So, this today we will be dealing mostly with questions from 2023 CSAT paper, and there are few questions from 2024 CSAT paper which we couldn't do in the last class. We will also be doing some of the 2022 paper questions too, but mostly we will be doing the 2023 PYQ questions. And last in 2025 and 2024, as we know, there were questions from coding and decoding chapter, and also there were questions from the senses of direction chapter. So from the questions that we have already done, I think you guys will be very well versed with coding and decoding and also senses of direction chapter. Thank you. So we won't be doing questions from those two chapters today. We will be concentrating on more other topics so that we don't repeat ourselves and we can use the time to the maximum utilization. Okay? Okay, then let's start the session. So, in the last session, we dealt with, is there any doubt? Okay. So, in the last session, we dealt with some of the statement conclusion questions, and it seems that some of you were having doubts regarding it. So, I have taken one question from syllogism, which is not similar, but it will give you an idea about how the statements has to be dealt with and how the conclusions have to be considered. നമ്മുടെ സാമാന്യമായിട്ടുള്ള ലോജിക് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ടല്ല മോസ്റ്റ്ലി സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആൻഡ് കൺക്ലൂഷൻ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. അത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ മനസ്സിലാവാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഞാൻ സില്ലോജിസം എന്നുള്ള ചാപ്റ്ററിന് ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഇതിൽ ആഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ലെറ്റ്സ് ഡു ദാറ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഫസ്റ്റ്. So that question is from 2022. Yeah. So this is a question from the chapter syllogism, which we will be dealing with later, and we will talk about that chapter in detail. So please listen here when I discuss. So two statements followed by four conclusions are given below. So two statements are given and four conclusions are given. You have to take the statements to be true. Yeah. Okay. So you have to take the statements to be true even if they seem to be at variance from the commonly known facts. So in these type of questions, whatever is given as statement has to be considered true even if they do not match our usual logic. For example, all pens are books. It doesn't make any sense. But if it in the statement, if it's given, you have to take that as the truth. Okay. Similarly, in the last chapter, in the last class, we dealt with a question with related to India's milk production. It doesn't matter what is the quantity of milk India produces or consumes. It matters what is given in the statement. If in the statement it is given that India is America, then India is America. Okay. So you have to take the statements to be true even if they seem to be at variance from the commonly known facts. So read all the conclusions and then decide which of the following conclusions logically follows from the statements disregarding the commonly known facts. Okay. So let us consider the statement 1 and statement 2. So there is a particular way in which the syllogism questions have to be done. I will show you here. This is we are just doing one question from syllogism here, so that you have an understanding of how to approach the statement and conclusion questions. Okay, we will deal with this chapter in detail later. Okay. So statement 1, all pens are books. So when you are doing the syllogism questions, we use Venn diagrams to represent the statements. Okay, we use Venn diagrams. You guys know what Venn diagrams are, right? So we use Venn diagrams to represent the statements. So the statement is all pens are books. All pens are books. Let us assume that this this diagram represent pen. It says that all pens are books. And this is book. All pens. Pens comes inside the book. Okay, all pens are books. And no chair is a pen. No chair is a pen, which means that there is no intersection between chairs and pen. No chair is a pen, which means there are no chairs which are pen. That can be represented like this. Sorry. No chair is a pen. It can be represented like this, right? But is this the only way this can be represented? Can we represent it some other way also? So now I drew this okay, now I drew that diagram. Let's draw that diagram once again. Pen here. This is books. And here is chair. Okay. So this Venn diagram satisfies both those statements. Let us look at another Venn diagram which satisfies both these statements. This is books and this is pen. And it's given that no chair is a pen. It doesn't say that no chair is a book. It only says that no chair is a pen. So can it be drawn like this? That some chairs are books. Does it satisfy those two statements? Okay. And so these are the two diagrams that we can draw from the statement. There is another diagram, third diagram, which can be drawn. So 1 second, let me redraw this diagram so that it doesn't take so much space. So first we have pen. Then there is, tell me, then there is books. And it says that some chairs can be books. And we can also draw it like this. There is pen. All pens are books. All pens are books. And all chairs may also be book. This is also possible, right? So from those two statements, we drew 4 Venn diagrams. Kiran, are you getting this? 4 Venn diagrams. And now let us look at the conclusions and see if the conclusions are matching the statements. Yeah. So conclusion 1, all chairs are books. What's the conclusion? Conclusion is, yeah, all chairs are books. It matches this one, right? All chairs are books. All chairs are books. It matches this one. But a conclusion can only be taken true if it satisfies all the 3 diagrams that we have formed out of those statements. Okay. A conclusion, again I am saying this, please listen. A conclusion can only be taken true if all the diagrams that we formed out of the statement is satisfied. Okay, it satisfies this, but it doesn't satisfy these 2 diagrams. So here we have derived 3 diagrams. So from other statements, you may only be able to derive 1 diagram, or maybe you will be able to do 2 or 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. The conclusion is taken to be true only if it satisfies all the diagrams that are derived from the statements given. So the first conclusion is not satisfied. So the first conclusion is not satisfied. All chairs are books. Then what is the second one? Some chairs are pens. Some chairs are pens. It satisfies this, but it doesn't satisfy this one. Okay, so that is not true. So this is also not true. Now, all books are chairs. All books are chairs. Can we say that? Some chairs are books. Good. So it's not satisfied here. So we cannot take that to be true. Similarly, we have no chair is a book. No chair is, it satisfies this diagram, but it doesn't satisfy these two diagrams. So what is the answer here? So the answer is which one of the question is which one of the following is correct? Only conclusion 1 follows, only conclusion 2, both conclusion 3 and conclusion 4, none of the conclusion follows. Which one? None of the conclusion follows. Okay. So this is the answer. You're getting it right. Manasilavunnundallo. Okay. So here we are doing just one question. We will deal with this type of questions in detail. Okay. I just have to give you a a purview into what these kind of questions are like. Okay. Now let's complete the PYQs from 2024. Yeah. Look at this question. So you can read it from your PDF. In some code letters, P, Q, R, S, T represent 4, 5, 10, 12 and 15. It is not known which letter represents which number. But we have two equations given here. Q minus S is equal to 2S and T is equal to R plus S plus 3. Then what is the value of P plus R minus T? We need to find the value of P plus R minus T. Do you want to try this question? Okay, please try this question. I will give you 2 minutes. We have two simple equations here, and we also have the letters P, Q, R, S, T, and their values are given 4, 5, 10, 12 and 15, but we do not know which letter represent which value. Kitio, did you get the answer? Two. Let's see, let's see. Let's do the question, okay? Please listen here. Listen here, please. So we have PQRST. We have 5 numbers, 4, 5, 10, 12 and 15. We do not know which number represents which letter. Sorry, which letter represents which number. But what do we have? We have 2 equations. We have Q minus S is equal to 2S, first equation. T is equal to R plus S plus 3 is equal to, that's the second equation. T is equal to R plus S plus 3. And we need to find the value of P plus R minus T. Okay. So what will we do? So here, let us take the first equation. Yeah, so the first equation can also be written like this, right? Q is equal to 3S, right? It can be written that way. What does it mean? It means that Q is thrice the value of S. Do we have any such numbers here? We have, what are the numbers we have here? We have 4, we have 5, we have 10, we have 12, and we also have 15. So we have any such numbers here where one number is thrice the other number? We have 2 sets here. We have 2 sets here, not just 15 and 5. We have 2 sets. We have 4 and 12 also. So there is case 1. Case 1 is what? S is equal to 4 and Q is equal to 12. That is case 1. Then we have case 2 where S is equal to 5 and Q is equal to 15. Right. So let us check which of these cases actually work. We have 2 cases where S is equal to 4 and Q is equal to 12. And second case, S is equal to 5 and Q is equal to 15. Let us check which of these cases actually satisfy the equation given here. Okay. Now let us apply this into the second equation that we have here. You guys understood this, right? Yeah. So we have the second equation. T is equal to R plus S plus 3. When we apply the case 1, we get T is equal to R plus, what is S in the case 1? What's the value of S in case 1? 4. So 4 plus 3. That is equal to R plus 7. Since in case 1 we are taking 4 and 12, 4 as S and Q as 12, what are the available numbers here? We have 5, we have 10 and we have 15. But it's already given here that T is equal to R plus 7. So it cannot be 5. It can either be only 10 or it can either be 15. Let us say that T is equal to 10. In case T is equal to 10, then what will be the value of, if T is equal to 10, what will be the value of R here? 3. But do we have any values 3 here? No, we don't. So case 1 is not satisfied. Yeah, so case 1 is not satisfied. Let us look at case 2. In case 2, what we have T is equal to R plus S plus 3, where what's the value of S? 5. So R plus 8. So what will be the value of T? T is equal to R plus 8. Let us, what are the remaining values here? We have already taken 5 and 15. What are the remaining values? 4, 10 and 12. 4 cannot be used here because it's already plus 8, so it cannot be used. So 10, let us look at 10. So in case we are taking 10, if let us assume that t is equal to 10, then what will be the value of r? R is equal to 2, but we do not have any values 2 here. So let us say that t is equal to no 12, 15. Sorry, 12. Yeah, t is equal to 12. In case t is equal to 12, what is the value of r here? So r is equal to 4. Do we have a value called 4 here? Yes. So what are the conclusions we find here? We find that S is equal to 5, Q is equal to 15. What is R? R is equal to 4. What is T? 12. So what's the remaining number? The remaining number is 10, and that is T. Sorry. Yeah, P. P is equal to 10. So what's the value that we need to get here? P plus R minus T, which is, sorry, this is P. What is P? 10 plus, what is R here? 4 minus 12. So what's the value are we getting here? 2. You got it right? Okay. So the answer here is 2. Let's move on to the next question. Yeah. So what's the next question? Okay. This is also a statement question. So you need to understand here. Main statement is followed by 4 statements labeled P, Q, R and S. Choose the ordered pair of the statements where the first statement implies the second and the 2 statements are logically consistent with the main statement. Vaisya manasilayo? Do give it a read fast, 20 seconds, and tell me if you understood this. So there is main statement and then there are 4 statements that follows it. It says that choose the ordered pair of the statements. You have to choose 2 statements which are a pair where the first statement implies the second. So the first statement actually leads to the second and the 2 statements are logically consistent with each other. Okay, I'll explain. So here the main statement, Pradeep becomes either. So you need to understand the meaning of either a director or a producer. What does that mean? It means that he becomes a director or a producer. If he becomes a director, then he doesn't become a producer. If he becomes a producer, then he doesn't become a director. He becomes either one of these. Okay. If he becomes a director, he doesn't become a producer. If he becomes a producer, then he doesn't become a director. So I didn't catch your name. What's your name? Your name. Huh? You're getting this right. Manasilavunnando? Huh? Okay. So ഇതിൽ പറയുന്നത് എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ പ്രദീപ് ഒന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഡയറക്ടർ ആവും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസർ ആവും. അതിന്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണ്? പ്രദീപ് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസർ ആയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അയാൾ ഡയറക്ടർ ആവില്ല, ഡയറക്ടർ ആയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അയാൾ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസർ ആവില്ല. അതാണ് അതിന്റെ മീനിങ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് ദ മീനിങ് ഓഫ് ഈദർ. So that's the main statement which you need to take as true. And you have four following statements. Statement P says that Pradeep is a director. Statement Q says that Pradeep is a producer. Statement R says that Pradeep is not a director. Statement S says that Pradeep is not a producer. So, ഇതിൽ ചോദിക്കുന്ന ചോദ്യം എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ choose the pair of statements. രണ്ട് statements choose ചെയ്യണം. They are logically consistent with each other and the first statement actually follows implies the second statement. അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഉദാഹരണം, let us take the example statement P. Pradeep is a director. What does that also mean? He is not a producer. So what are the two pairs here? So P and S. P and S. And Pradeep is a producer. What does that also mean? He is not a director. So P and R. So how many of the, which is the correct answer? Both SP and RQ are correct answers. Okay. So that comes, 2024 PYQ questions comes to an end. Now let's move on to the 2023 questions. Okay. The earlier syllogism question that we did was from 2022. Okay, this is a simple question. This is again from, this is a simple question. This is again from coding and decoding. I'll give you 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Please find the answer. It's very simple. Just choose the group which is different from the others. Just look at the numbers and you will understand what kind of group it is. കിട്ടിയോ? കിട്ടിയോ? Okay, look here. So basically you need to learn by heart the prime numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, learn by heart the prime numbers from 1 to 100. So basically these are all prime. This is prime, 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 composite, prime. Okay, so this is the answer. So learn by heart the prime numbers from 1 to 100. When you did you finish number system? The chapter number system? Almost. Okay. Okay, so this is the question that is similar to the one that we did. Okay, so I am assuming that all of you know how to do this. I am doing it once again. So here. So 125 identical cubes are arranged in the form of cubical blocks. Small cubes, 125 cubes which are identical to each other are put together one over the other and a large cube is made. Okay, so what's the number of cube? 125. And what is this? How can we represent this number using the equation that we learned? Yeah, so x plus 1 into y plus 1 into z plus 1 is equal to 125. So can you tell me the, don't think, can you tell me the value of x plus 1? Yeah, 5, because it's a perfect cube. It's a perfect cube. So it's 5 cube is equal to 125. It's a perfect cube. Okay. So yeah, Cubes also you need to learn by heart. I don't have to say this. Learn by heart till 20. Okay. How many cubes are surrounded by other cubes from each side? Okay. So here let us say that n cube is equal to 125 and n is equal to 5. So what does this n represent? Number of cuts is x ആണ്. Okay, x plus 1 number of cuts അത് എത്ര പീസ് ആവുന്നുണ്ട് എന്നാണ്. Okay, so this n is number of like pieces that a cube becomes when you cut x number of times. Okay, so when you cut x number of times, what is the number of pieces that you get? Yeah, 5, n. Okay, so there is an equation to find this. So the question is, how many cubes are surrounded by other cubes from each side? അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ the question is about smaller cubes അടുക്കി വെച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു വലിയ ക്യൂബ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ പുറമേക്ക് കാണാത്ത എത്ര ക്യൂബ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. പുറമേക്ക് കാണാത്ത എത്ര ക്യൂബ് അകത്തുണ്ട് എന്നാണ്. അത് ഫൈൻഡ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ഇക്വേഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. The equation is n minus 2 whole cube. Okay, what is n here? 5 minus 2 whole cube. It's 3 cube. What is 3 cube? 27. Question മനസ്സിലായോ? ലോജിക് മനസ്സിലായോ? So this is how you do using the equation. There is also another way you can use using logic, but because of the time constraints, let's not discuss that now. We will discuss that in detail when we discuss cubes and cuboids. Okay. And let's move to the next question. Yeah. So this is the age question. So age question, direction question, coding question, these are all like simple questions. If you just apply what is given in the question, you will get the answer. Okay. Certain other questions, that cubes questions and all, you need to know the equation in order to arrive at the answer. Age questions are not like that. So what is the question here? The question says that A is older than B, C and D are of the same age, E is the youngest, F is younger than D, F is older than A. How many statements given above are required to determine the oldest person or persons? Okay, so let us write down everything that is given here. A is older than B. Please listen here. Okay, when I am discussing here, please listen. Like, without listening, at the end of the question, if you say that I didn't understand, it doesn't make any sense. Listen here. So A is older than B. It says that the first statement is A is older than B. And the second one, C and D are of the same age. C is equal to D. I mean, C and D are of the same age. It looks... Yeah, C and D are of the same age. It says that E is the youngest. Let's put it here. E is the youngest of all. And F is younger than D. F is younger than D. That means D is older. And F is older than A. That means F is older than A. Now we just have to arrange this. Okay, we just have to arrange this properly. So we know that E is the youngest. Is there any other connection that we can give to E? We don't have. Okay. We have that A is older than B. A is older than B. So there is A and there is B. We also have F is older than A. So F is older than A. And it's given that D is older than F. So there is D here. It's also given that C is the same age of D. So D. So who is the oldest here? Huh? D and C. Okay, D and C are the oldest here. So here in this question, it's not difficult at all. You just have to apply what is given in the question and you will arrive at the answer. Sorry? Yeah. Now there is a next question. Okay. Next question says, so the answer is, so the answer is, so in order to find that C and D are the oldest, how many statements did we use? We used all the 5 statements, okay. Will we be able to arrive at ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് കൂടാതെ നമുക്ക് can we arrive at the answer without using any statement given there? No, right? So all 5 is the answer. Tell me. You ask me the question. He is the youngest. അത് കൂടാതെ മനസ്സിലായില്ല. Tell me. He is the C and D are the, so she's asking, there is a third statement, E is the youngest. E is the youngest. So she's asking if we can arrive at the answer without using that statement, right? Yes. We may be able to understand that C and D are the oldest. But again, we have one letter over there which is not addressed. We do not know what is the relation between E to other letters. Only because that statement is given, we know that E is the youngest. Otherwise, we do not know what is the other, what is the relation of E to the other letters. Okay? Yeah. So, next question. Consider the following, including the question and the statements. There are 5 members, A, B, C, D, E in the family. A, B, C, D and E in the family. There are 5 members. Question, what is the relation of A to B? We need to find the relation of A to B. So there are 5 members in the family, A, B, C, D, E, and we need to find the relation of E to B. So in the signs, we learned the signs of how to represent the family relations in the last class. So statement 1 says that A and B are a married couple. So how do we represent that? We represent this like this. A and B are a married couple. But we do not know what is the gender of A, what is the gender of B. Okay. And D is the father of C. We know that D is the father of C. So D is the father of C. So what is the gender of D? Male. So male, D here. So D is represented like this. And D is the father of C. Okay. D is the father of C. And E is D's son. D is E's son. E is D's son. E is D's son. So what does that mean? C and E are siblings. And E is male. Okay. Did you have a doubt? Okay. And A and C are sisters. It also says that A and C are sisters. So we can write this like this. A and C are sisters. So we know the genders of A and C now. Both are female. And we also know earlier that B and A are a married couple. Sorry? Yeah, B male. Goes without saying. Okay. So for consider a normal family in all the cases if not stated otherwise. Okay. A normal family is considered if not stated otherwise. Okay. So, which one of the following statement is correct in respect of the above questions and statements? How many of the statements are necessary in order to arrive at the relation between E to B? What is the relation between E to B? Brother-in-law, right? So, how many of the statements are necessary? All 4 statements are necessary, right? You don't think so? All 4 statements are necessary. Sorry? Tell me. D father, say full statements, okay. Say full sentences. Doubt and Anvara. So only when we established that D is the father of C, we were able to connect between C and E. We were able to connect between C and E only through that statement. Okay. So all the 4 statements are necessary. So C is the correct answer here. Okay? Manslayo? Manslayo? Okay. If you have any doubt, like ask me after the class, I'll clarify it. Okay, so next question. So we have A, B and C, D. A, B and C, D are 2-digit numbers. A, B and C, D are 2-digit numbers. Okay, when they are multiplied with each other, when A, B is multiplied with C, D, we get a 3-digit number. What is that number? That number is D, E, F. That number is D, E, F. Adding D, E, F to another 3-digit number G, H, I results in 975. That is D, E, F plus, D, E, F plus G, H, I. What is the number that we are getting here? 975. 975. Okay. So it says that we have the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So we have all these letters here, which are distinct digits. Okay, what does distinct digits means? All are different digits. Okay, and it's given that E is equal to, it's given that E is equal to 0 and F is equal to 8. E is equal to 0 and F is equal to 8. Then what is the value of A plus B plus C? What is the value of A plus B plus C? Okay, listen here. So what do we have? We have AB into CD is DEF. We also have DEF plus GHI is 975. E is equal to 0 and F is equal to 8. Okay. So from this information, how we will find the values of A plus B plus C? Sandra. If you have any doubts, we will discuss it afterwards. Okay. Huh? Yeah, F plus I is 5. We already know that F is equal to 8. So what plus 8 is 5? Yeah, 7. So this we know to be 8 already. F is equal to 8. So 8 plus something is 5. We are getting 5 at the unit digit. What is that? 7. 7 is the answer. Something plus 8. നമുക്ക് 5 യൂണിറ്റ് ഡിജിറ്റിൽ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അത് ഇതൊരു ഒറ്റ ഡിജിറ്റ് ആണല്ലോ, ഇത് മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ ഡിജിറ്റ് അല്ല ഇവിടെ ഉള്ളത്, ഒറ്റ ഡിജിറ്റ് ആണ്. സംതിങ് പ്ലസ് 8 we are getting 5. So what is that number? That number is 7. So we get that I is equal to 7. So we get this here and we get this here 1. More 1 remaining. We already know that E is equal to what? 0. 0. And 1 plus 0 plus H is equal to 7. So what is the value of H? So H is equal to 6. H is equal to 6. So 6 plus 7 plus 9. Okay. So we have the values of E is equal to 0 now, F is equal to 8 now, I is equal to 7 and H is equal to 6. Okay. ഇവിടുന്ന് ഇതിനെ try to do this question from here on. നമ്മൾ അതേപോലത്തെ ഒന്ന് നേരത്തെ ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. സോ എന്തായിരുന്നു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ എന്തായിരുന്നു? സോ DEF, sorry, okay, DEF plus GHI gives 975, right? നമ്മൾ A കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. E is equal to 0, F is equal to 8, I is equal to 7, H is equal to 6. ഇത് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. ഇനി D and G വരാൻ ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മളുടെ D and G വരാൻ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് സാധ്യത ഉള്ളത്? 1 നമ്മൾ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു, 8 എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു. ബാക്കിയുള്ള സാധ്യതകൾ ഏതാണ്? 7 ഇവിടെ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു. 1 is equal to 7. 5, 4. But we do not know. ഇത് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ഒരു കേസ് 1 കേസ് 2 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ചെയ്തില്ലായിരുന്നു. സോ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. സോ D is either 5 or 4. Similarly, G is either 4 or 5. So case 1 is equal to case 1 is D is equal to 5 and G is equal to 4. Case 2 is D is equal to 4 and G is equal to 5. Right. So, ഈ രണ്ട് കേസും when you apply these two cases to this question, this not question, this multiplication here, you will arrive at the answer. Do you want to do this question on your own or should I do? Can you do this as a homework? Can you do this as a homework? Try this as a homework, and if you didn't get, please come back to me. We will do this in the class. Okay. Because we have already done one question like this before. You just have to apply the same logic and you will get the answer. Okay. Let's go on to the next question. So this question also you can do this as a homework. So basically it's a very simple question. So incomprehensibilities, you write down incomprehensibilities. Now arrange the letters of incomprehensibilities in the alphabetical order. Okay. Then reverse it. Okay. Arrange the letters of incomprehensibilities first in the alphabetical order, then reverse it and find which of the letters do not change their positions. Manasalayo? Manasalayo? Okay. So the answer here is actually 2. Answer is 2. But check this question as a homework. Okay. Yeah. So question number 9. Let us look at question number 9. Look at your PDFs. A plus B means A is neither small nor equal to B. What does that mean? A plus B is neither smaller nor equal to B. A greater than B. And secondly, A minus B means A is not greater than B. Yeah, A less than or equal to B. A less than or equal to B. A into B means A is not smaller than B. What does that mean? A is greater than or equal to B. Right. Then fourth, A divided by B means A is neither greater nor equal to B. Yeah, A less than B. And A plus or minus B means A is neither smaller nor greater than B, which means A is equal to B. Okay, so these are the statements or the conditions that are given. Then there is a statement given. Statement given is P into Q. What does P into Q means? Yeah, statement. So listen here, listen here. So what the statement is P into Q. What does P into Q mean? Huh? Huh? Yeah, yeah, yes. P is greater than or equal to B. Then P minus T, what does that mean? P is less than or equal to T. Right. Listen here, listen here. T divided by R, what does that mean? T is less than R. Then R plus or minus S, what does that mean? R is equal to S. Yeah. So now can we write this connecting to each other? R is equal to S. R is equal to S, or we can also write it like S is equal to R. S is equal to R. We have another relation with respect to R here. R is greater than T. What is another relation? P is less than or equal to T. Or equal to T. Sorry, P. And P is greater than or equal to B. This is what we have written here. This is what we derived from what is given in the statement. Okay. So the conclusion is, so there are, what's the problem? Sorry, Q. Yeah, Q, sorry. Q. We also have two conclusions here. What is the conclusion? Conclusion says that Q is equal to T. What is second conclusion? Second conclusion says that S is greater than Q. So, which one of the above conclusions actually follow? That's the question. Which one of the above conclusions actually follow? Which one of these conclusions do you think actually follow? One only. പറയാം. So, എവിടുന്ന പറയേണ്ടത്? ആ ഇത് മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? ഇനി ഇതാണ് ആൻസർ. ആ ആൻസറിലേക്ക് എങ്ങനെ എത്തുന്ന. ഓക്കെ, സോ ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ദിസ്. സോ ഇതിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് കൺക്ലൂഷൻ എന്താണ്? Q ഈസ് ഈക്വൽ ടു ടി. Q ഈസ് ഈക്വൽ ടു ടി എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് കൺക്ലൂഷൻ. അത് നമുക്ക് കൺക്ലൂസീവ് ആയിട്ട് പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ Q ഈസ് ഈക്വൽ ടു ടി എന്ന്? We do not know which. It can also be like T is greater than Q. It's either or. T is greater than or equal to P and P is greater than or equal to Q. There is also a condition. There is also a condition where this is also satisfied here, right? So we cannot say conclusively that Q is equal to T. So this doesn't follow. Okay, now look at this. S is greater than Q. S is greater than Q. Even if this is all equal to, T is greater than S. So ultimately, how does it become? It becomes S is greater than T, even if this is all equal to. Just imagine that the case is all equal to. T is equal to P, P is equal to Q. T is still greater than S. So S is greater than Q still stands. മനസ്സിലായോ? Everybody? Okay? So the answer is only conclusion 2 follows from the statement. So there is a 10th question which is actually very easy. So we will do one more question. Let us do one more question because all the questions are, I have selected more statement and conclusion question this time because I wanted you to get rid of the doubt on how to approach these questions. Even if you make mistakes now, it is not problem. You have so much time in front of you, but you just have to get the approach on how to deal with these questions. Yeah, we will do this question. Yeah, let P, Q, R, S and T be 5 statements. Let us consider 5 statements. One statement is P, Q, R, S and T. So there are 5 statements. Read from your PDF. If P is true, there are 2 conditions and 2 conclusions given. Statements given. If P is true, if P is true, consider that. Look, listen to me carefully. If P is true, time is over. Okay. So if P is true, then both Q and S are true. P true anengil Q and S both are true. Okay, that is a statement given. If P is true, Q and S are true. Okay. What does that also mean? ഈ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് കാര്യത്തിൽ പറ. ആറും ടീം ഫോൾസോ? ഇതിലൂടെ ആറും ടീം വരുന്നു എന്നാര് പറഞ്ഞു? Now we are just talking about this P, Q and S. Statement 1. If P is true, Q and S are true. Appo P false ആണെങ്കിലോ? What if P is false? ഇത് രണ്ടും false ആവോ? If P is false, there are 3 chances. One is Q is false, S is true, or Q is true, S is false, or both Q and S are false. ഇത് മൂന്ന് നടന്നൂടെ? Look, the statement says if P is true. I need you to understand what the statement means. If P is true, P true ആണെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ്? We are sure that Q and S are also true. If P is false, Q and S false ആകാം, രണ്ടും false ആകാം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ Q false ആകാം, S true ആകാം. Q true ആകാം, S false ആകാം. ഈ മൂന്നിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് സംഭവിക്കാം. Okay. If P is false, it is not given directly in the statement, but by extension it also means this. Okay. Similarly, look at the second statement. If R and S are true, if R and S are true, R is true, S is true, T is false. ഇനി ഇതേപോലെ ബാക്കി രണ്ട് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ്സ് പറഞ്ഞേ, ബാക്കി മൂന്നെണ്ണം. Okay. If R and S are true, T is false. I am saying that T is true. Tell me R and S. ഏതാ false? Which one is false? R ഉം S ഉം false ആണ്. False, true, true, false. മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? Okay. So which of the following can be concluded? If T is true, then at least one of P and R must be false. If T is true, at least one of P and R must be false. Right. And if Q is true, then P is true. അങ്ങനെയാണ്. So first conclusion മനസ്സിലായോ? First conclusion okay ആണോ? If T is true, let's given here T is true. T true ആവുന്നത് എപ്പോഴാണ്? T true ആവുന്ന മൂന്ന് ചാൻസസ് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു. ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്? ഒന്ന്, R and S false ആവുമ്പോൾ, R true ആവുമ്പോൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ S false ആവുമ്പോൾ, R false ആവുമ്പോൾ S true ആവുമ്പോൾ. ഇത് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് നമുക്ക് കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ? If T is true, then at least one of P and R must be false. Right. I'm asking. Right. മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? T is true here. In both these cases, and the doubt on that? Okay. T is true. There are three options when T is true. Both are false. R is true, S is false. R is false, S is true. പക്ഷെ R true വരുന്ന ഒരു കേസ് ഉണ്ട്. കണ്ടോ? R true വരുന്ന ഒരു കേസ് ഉണ്ട്. But at that time S must be false. Okay, at that time S must be false. From the first statement, what are the cases when S could be false? It says that when P is true, Q and S are also true. Tell me the condition when S is false. P Q ആവണ്ട, P മാത്രം. P false ആയാൽ മതി. Okay. So does it, so the first statement holds true. If T is true, then at least one of P and R must be false. This is a little complex, but you need to connect the points here. So now the second conclusion. If Q is true, then P is true. What is given here? It's given here that P is true, then Q and S are also true. Conclusion കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത് if Q is true, then P is true എന്നാണ്. If Q is true, then P is true എന്നാണ്. ആണോ? ഇതിൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ടാണല്ലോ എന്താ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്? If P is true, if P is true, then Q and S are true എന്നാണ്. ഇതിൽ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള നേരെ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് ആണ്. If Q is true, then P is true. We have seen a condition where P is false and Q is true. This condition. Right. So second conclusion, does it follow? So the second conclusion does not follow. So the answer is 1 only. Okay. So there are a couple of more questions in the PDF. Please go back and try those questions. This, what we did here is one of the tough questions. But if you are able to understand this, you will be able to understand other questions too. So you go back and revise. Without revision, you won't be able to understand it. I think revision is really important. So please revise from today onwards at least. Okay. So thank you. We will see in the next class. Thank you everyone.